This short video will describe a social media pilot project conducted prior to Hurricane Sandy, brought together the public-private sector to share information on how best to leverage social media into emergency management, to create actionable information out of social media. Right after the pilot project was finished, Sandy hit, and it was during Hurricane Sandy that this pilot project became operational and actually saved lives during Hurricane Sandy, rescued citizens, and identified looting and other things that were very helpful to law enforcement inside the state of New Jersey. So briefly, the pilot project looked like this. On the left, the first box represents all of the social media components that contribute hundreds of millions of posts that have to be sorted down to find actionable items. So that information goes into the next block on the right, public open source social media sphere, which is comprised of Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Flickr. And you can imagine all the different systems that are out there that these various sources contribute to. So that data from the public open source social media is fed into an analytical engine. This combines a $100 million piece of software that's been invested over the years, primarily starting with the legal community, and now is being used by corporate America. This service is also used by the Secret Service and some other folks. And that service basically uses software to filter out hundreds of thousands of pieces of information down to 1,000, if you will. And then from there, analysts, over 100 analysts, look at this information, cross-reference it, and bring it down to 2 to 3 actionable items, or eliminating false positives, and filters out information that is not accurate or misleading down to information that is actionable. So with this pilot project, we looked to bring government requirements and business rules together with private sector requirements and business rules, conduct integrated planning meetings, and put out joint outputs that could be seen and utilized by both. So the idea here was to bring the state of New Jersey's Office of Emergency Management together with businesses both inside New Jersey and on a national level outside of New Jersey to do integrated planning around social media, understand how to use it, understand the requirements. And the outputs from this pilot were to synchronize trending reports that both New Jersey emergency managers and private sector companies would see at the same time, so that government saw it, we saw it in private sector. We also conducted integrated planning meetings, and we provided recommendations for improvement. And you can see the note at the bottom, during Sandy, this capability was used by both the public and private sectors to protect property and individuals. The most important outcome was the individual that was rescued in the Toms River, who was drowning, and he was using his smartphone to tweet an SOS signal, basically. It was late at night. It showed up on the reports. An analyst saw that, recognized it, called the New Jersey State EOC, who got the police on the line, and apparently they had a chopper in the air and rescued the guy out of the Toms River, as we understand it. So that's just one example of dozens of outcomes like this. So what did these reports look like? Here's an example of some of the reports that were summarized, but it basically came to an email, and you can see on the left there was risk levels, high, medium, and low. And these were analyzed reports. So this isn't a raw software sifted data feed. These are individual posts that are distilled through thousands and thousands of posts and then run through analysts. So by the time they got to this report, they are actionable. And you can see under the high category, there were a number of issues that came up that could be taken action upon. In the medium category, you saw some other items there, and of course there's low. But there were examples of this, like there was a report of a shark that had gotten into the Toms River, and somebody actually, by the time the analyst saw it, it was a false positive. Somebody had photoshopped the fin in the Toms River. There were other things that were pranks and things like that. There were some false websites being stood up for Sandy victims. The whole point is an analyst could take this information and cross-reference these posts against a number of other sources to validate this information. The reason for that is you don't want law enforcement or emergency management officials in the public or private sector chasing false leads. You want to make sure those leads are accurate, and you don't want people to lose confidence in the source. That happens a lot when you have a lot of social media activity. You don't know what to chase, and if you chase the wrong thing, people lose faith in it and they stop they stop listening to it, or they stop believing it's accurate. So this service worked very hard through the integrated planning process to allow people to see this and understand what it was and take action on it, because they know this had been analyzed not just through sophisticated software, but actual analysts that do this for a living 24/7 around the world in various languages. So we're able to look at this and validate what was real and what was not.